Emma stole my husband, and yet she wanted me to comfort her illness. People said I was cold-blooded, but no one mentioned that she was the one who took my trust and destroyed me. I didn't smash a glass, I didn't cry. I just put away the invitation and framed her name, hanging it above the toilet in the bathroom. Every morning while brushing my teeth, I could see it, reminding me that compassion only feeds betrayal. They thought time could soften everything. But when she appeared wearing a wig, crying and begging me for forgiveness, I just looked at her. At that moment, she finally understood that the true punishment wasn't losing my husband, it was never getting a single word from me. She broke down screaming my name, her voice as shattered as her unsmiling face. I turned and walked away, leaving only one sentence: everyone must pay for what they've done. The first time I met Emma was in college. Back then, we were the most lively group in our dorm. She always laughed loudly and loved wearing bright colors. She said she envied me, said I always handled every step steadily, unlike her, who was impulsive. I thought it was a compliment. We became inseparable friends. She accompanied me to try on wedding dresses, I helped her change jobs. When Mark proposed, she was the first to know. That day, she drank too much champagne and hugged me crying, "You will definitely be happy." Even after my marriage, she was a frequent visitor. She brought flowers, brought wine, and sat in the kitchen talking with me until midnight. She knew every detail of my marriage, arguments, miscarriage, insomnia. She listened carefully and even took notes, saying she wanted to analyze Mark's emotional patterns for me. I thought she was just a natural listener. Until the day I went to deliver lunch to Mark at his office. In the reflection of the glass, I saw him leaning down to kiss her hair. That was a gesture I recognized, the one he often used to soothe me. Coffee in my hand spilled all over the floor. At that moment, I said nothing, just went back to my car and sat for 10 minutes before driving away. A few days later, they came to my house. Emma wore a beige dress, her hair loose, looking gentle and apologetic. She said, "I know this is sudden. We never meant to hurt you." I nodded, "But you did." She reached out to shake my hand, and I stepped back. She smiled weakly, "You always taught me to be honest." I just learned too thoroughly. Mark interjected, "Rachel, we never intended to hide it." "Emma, she really understands me." I looked at them, my mind blank. Emma added, "I know your marriage better than anyone, because she told me everything." The way she said it felt like she was presenting the results of a term paper. Later came lawyers, court, a cooling-off period. Mark moved out, and the children stayed with me. On the day of the divorce, he handed me the papers and said, "You'll be better off." I smiled, "I already am." In the months that followed, I had almost no contact with them. The kids visited every other week. Emma still occasionally sent messages asking if we'd like to go to the zoo at Christmas, but I didn't respond. She sent a handwritten letter, her usual round handwriting, "You'll always be my dearest." I put it in a drawer, unopened. The real turning point came 4 months after their wedding. The invitations arrived with a note that read, "I know it's too early to say this now, but you'll understand. After all, you taught us what true love is." I held the invitation in the kitchen and laughed. Laughed until tears ran down. I put it in a frame and hung it above the toilet. Every morning, while brushing my teeth, I saw it. It became a monument, a reminder of how absurd people can be. After that, Emma seemed to fall into an obsession. She sent birthday cards, missing my old friend. She arrived early during child pickups, handing me homemade cookies. She even gave me a scarf with a note, "Perfect for your cold yet elegant temperament." I donated the scarf, unopened. Mark texted me, "You're too harsh. She just wants to repair the relationship." I replied, "I don't repair garbage." He called, furious, "You're only embarrassing the kids." I said, "The kids already know who's sincere." After that, things quieted down for a while. Until 3 weeks ago, when Mark suddenly called, "Emma wants to talk to you." "It's important." I asked, "Other than the kids, I'm not interested." He said, "Rachel, it's a matter of life and death." I hung up. The next day, picking up the kids from school, I saw their car parked on the side. Emma stepped out, wearing a headscarf, her face waxy pale. Mark was supporting her. She approached me, her voice trembling. I have cancer, stage 3. I looked at her, not knowing what she wanted me to say. She continued, I'm really scared. You know me best. You stayed up with me when my mother was sick, you know how afraid I am. I said, the kids' science fair project is due next week. Don't forget. She paused, then cried. Mark was furious. Rachel, don't you have any humanity? I looked at him. Humanity? She slept with my husband, and you play the model father in front of my kids. How do you expect me to be humane? Smile and serve her soup. He opened his mouth but said nothing. Emma nearly fell to her knees in tears. That night, calls kept coming. Friends pleaded, Rachel, she's dying. Emma's sister sent a voice message cursing me as cold-hearted. Even my mother said, she was your friend once. I remained silent. Because those people never saw her sitting in my kitchen, noting down the cracks in my marriage. True revenge isn't shouted out. Emma started treatment. Mark stayed with her, but I heard he got busier at work. The children occasionally mentioned her, saying she barely left home. One day, at a school parent meeting, I saw her. She wore a wig, smiling weakly. Seeing me, she hesitated, then came over. Rachel, she said faintly, I just want to say, I truly regret it. I looked at her. Do you regret being found out, or losing control? Her lips trembled. I thought you would forgive me. You assume a lot, I said, but your assumptions no longer affect me. A few days later, she wrote saying she wanted to see the children one last time. It was the day of the science fair. We went, she didn't show. I heard her condition had worsened. Later, Mark stopped me in the parking lot. She probably won't make it through the week. She still thinks of you. I replied, then let her think of me. The next news was the funeral notice. Mark personally delivered it to my mailbox. I didn't go. That morning, in the bathroom, I took down the invitation. In the frame, I replaced it with a new piece of paper, on which I wrote, everyone must pay for what they've done. Friends said I was cold. But I knew I was finally free. Sometimes, victory isn't making the other person beg. It's when they are at their most vulnerable and realize, you will never extend a hand again. That kind of calm is more complete than any revenge.